Okay. 68 teams begin the quest to rule the college basketball universe. Over the next 3 weeks, underdogs will rise, brackets will burst, stars will be born, and dreams will die. It's truly a sporting event unlike any other. There's a reason they call it March Madness after all. This National Collegiate Athletic Association, the NCAA basketball tournament, is the largest basketball tournament in the world and brings in a revenue of billions of dollars. This pays the schools, the coaches, but not the athletes. People think that playing a college sport and getting a free education is a privilege at that. It is not necessary to pay the athletes as well. That's simply overdoing it and spoiling the athletes. This is not true. College athletes work at a pace that deserves to be compensated in a paycheck. Today, sports and athletics in the NCAA draw in around $11 billion each year for the organization. Its coaches and administrations make staggering amounts of money. From high salaries to performance bonuses, it seems that the NCAA is a very profitable business considering it's a nonprofit organization. Broadcasting deals is the first resource that the NCAA tournament allows to bring in a staggering amount of revenue. It's broadcasted on multiple TV channels, allowing access from all parts of the world, giving millions of people access to watch these games. An article in Fox Business by Matthew Rocco tells us the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Final Four reached a bigger TV audience than ever before. It grossed 16.3 million total viewers. During the semifinals and the Connecticut-Florida matchup set a new single-game record for cable networks. Approximately 21 million Americans turned to CBS for the national championship game, which Connecticut won over Kentucky. Clearly, March Madness makes a large amount of money from these broadcasting deals. In fact, the NCAA basketball tournament generates over $770 million in TV right deals alone. Another resource that allows March Madness to gain extensive amounts of money is through their ticket sales. Jesse Lawrence, a writer for Forbes magazine, teaches us the average price at the AT&T Stadium, including both Final Four games and the national championship game, is $678.14 per ticket. This averages in $1,139 for the 3-session trip. The championship game is the highest priced single session of the tournament with $655 average price. Though the AT&T Stadium is one of the largest in the world, tickets are sold out. The stadium is full for these final games. Jolly Lee from USA Today says the NCAA's semifinal record attendance set in 2011 was over 75,000 in Houston could be broken this weekend at the AT&T Stadium, which has a capacity for more than 77,000 seats, not including the seats in the suites. Everybody is paying hundreds of dollars to watch these incredible athletes perform, but the performers are not being compensated for their show. Is that really fair? One of the sources that all the money goes, the money made is poured into its coaching staff. Coaches of these Division I basketball teams make outrageous amounts of money. Kathleen Burke, a reporter for MarketWatch, shows us college basketball coaches are typically paid annual base salaries in addition to bonuses for radio and television appearances and incentives for tournament appearances and wins. Calipari is the highest paid coach of the 2016 tournament, bringing home $6.36 million in the 2014-2015 season. Including their annual pay, with each win in the basketball season, coaches get paid more and more. They get paid for their performance of their athletes, though the athletes don't get anything to perform. With 22 wins and annual earnings of about $114,000, according to the 2014 state employee data, McDevitt's wins cost the school just $5,182 per game. That's compared to more than $262,000 per win for Duke University's famed head coach Mike Krzyzewski and John Calipari. The main reason that athletes are not paid today is because the idea that people have that scholarships and a free education are enough. What they do not know is that many big-name schools provide a little security for their student athletes, who commonly practice upwards 60 hours a week and risk losing a scholarship if they're injured and can no longer play. Matthew Green from KQED News shares more information about these scholarships. He says the robust scholarships of most top student athletes receive, which typically cover tuition and some living expenses, provide access to top-notch education at some of the best schools in the country, not to mention the opportunity to play on a nationally recognized team. Because of a tuition-focused scholarship that is dependent on the athlete's performance, these athletes deserve to be paid for the time that they put into training and working as well. According to Institute for College Access and Success in Pennsylvania, 71% of students leave a public four-year institution or a private nonprofit four-year institution in debt. The average is $32,000. That's an enormous burden for kids who may or may not have a job awaiting them upon graduation. When you look at it that way, plenty of college students would be happy to play sport for 4 years if it meant they didn't have to take on that financial hardship. These people are unaware of the hard work and dedication it takes to be a student athlete. Many people would do anything to avoid being in debt after graduation, though these people don't understand that when you're a full-time student and a college athlete, you don't have time for much else. This includes work. One of the reasons student athletes deserve more money than a scholarship to compensate for all the time they suppress into their sport at a college level. They do not have time for a full-time job to support themselves. If a student has 10 hours of classes each week and puts in the recommended 4 hours of study for each class, then athletes spend 50 hours each week studying and attending mandatory classes in study halls. This means that college athletes have to work 90 hours per week just to remain in school and on their scholarship. This is equivalent to working 2 full-time jobs with a side job on the weekends just to pay their bills. These athletes do not have room in their full schedule to pick up a full-time job to support their needs not covered by the scholarship. They also have to train and practice year-round to remain at their athletic peak, thus preventing from a seasonal job. Although March Madness brings in millions of dollars in income through various resources, none is distributed among the athletes that are participating. Today, sports and athletics in the NCAA draw around $11 billion each year for the organization, an outstanding number. $11 billion is drawn in, and this is continually rising in the NCAA basketball tournament and is spreading throughout the world. After hundreds of consecutive years where this money is distributed among the coaches and administrations, I believe the athletes deserve a piece of it.